Ready to learn how to customize your WordPress website's SEO title and meta description using the Yoast plugin? If that's the case, you have made it to the right video. That's exactly what we're diving into today. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I'm Mariah from MariahMagazine.com, and on this channel, I help simplify things like SEO, websites, and I dive into tools and recommendations to help grow your online business in a way that works for you. So in today's video, we are going to dive in to the Yoast SEO plugin, and I'm going to show you guys how to customize your website's SEO title and meta description. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so before we dive into the actual tutorial of like how to customize this stuff, I just wanted to show you where it shows up from a user perspective and why it's so important. So this is obviously a Google results page, just typing in this specific keyword. So if we scroll down here, this is an example for my website specifically. So this big text right here, this is the SEO title, okay? This text right here, this is the meta description. So the reason why customizing this stuff is so important is because when users go to Google and they Google a keyword, a query, whatever, and they're trying to figure out like what search result to click on, this information, your SEO title, your meta description, which is also known as metadata, this is the only information that they see in order to help them make a decision on like which option they want to click on, okay? So I tell my clients like, listen, it is not good enough to just get on page 1 of Google. Obviously, we want that, but the whole point of SEO is to drive traffic to the website. So, and the only thing that we have to help us drive traffic to the website is by customizing an SEO title and meta description that is enticing for the user to click. And I use the word enticing lightly because we're not trying to be clickbaity, okay? We are not trying to like manipulate and try to get people to click over to our website and then they're disappointed because like our meta description hyped up the content and it didn't even hit the nail on the head. Okay, so we want to be enticing. We also want to be honest here. And then we also, there's a lot of alsos here. We also need to make sure that our target keyword is inside of the SEO title and the meta description. And for the meta description, it's not technically a ranking factor. So Google has said to have your SEO keyword inside of the meta description, but you can see right here, it's a visual clue that this search result might be a really good option for people because it will bold the keywords that I put in here. So like whatever query, whatever key phrase I'm putting in here, Google will bold it if those words show up in the meta description. It's a visual clue to users. Hey, this result might be a really good match to what I searched for. Now, I also want to make another note, just because we customize our meta description and our SEO title, that does not mean for sure that Google is going to take that and show it on search results. Because as you're going to see, this is not the meta description that I set. Okay, so customizing the SEO title and the meta description is best practice because we don't want to leave it to how Yoast sets it up like template wise automatically because it's not usually very enticing. But the other thing that we have to keep in mind is that sometimes Google will change the SEO title and the meta description if it thinks that it can put a more clickable or a more enticing meta description or title in here that will get users to click. Okay, so just because we customize it doesn't mean that for sure Google is going to use it, but it's best practice to do that because we don't want to rely just on like the basics. Okay, so let's get into the back end of WordPress. So the first thing that we want to do is log into the back end of our WordPress website. And then for this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys using the Yoast SEO plugin, the free version. If you're using another SEO plugin, totally fine. I'm just going to be walking through Yoast because that's what I use on my website. So if you don't already have Yoast, you can click on plugins, click add new, type in Yoast, click enter on your keyboard, and then it's this plugin right here. So you would just click install now and then activate it. Okay. So once you have Yoast active on your website, usually when you're adding a new post, I just want to show you what this looks like, because this is like, you know, the top, you add the title of your post. This is where you add the content of your post. And I will say that my Yoast settings show up below all of my content. Some people's Yoast settings show up on the right-hand side. But regardless of where it is, this is what the Yoast SEO box looks like. So when you first create a new page or a new post or whatever, Yoast will automatically insert variables to create and generate an SEO title based on the title of your post or the title of your page. And then it will include a separator, and then it will add your site title at the end. To be honest, this like automatically generated SEO title, it's better than nothing, but it's not great. Okay, so that's why I always recommend to my clients that we customize this. Okay, so essentially we would just delete those variables and then customize this stuff. So let me show you an example of one. And we're going to use the one that I just showed you for the third-party Squarespace templates. So up top here, we have my title, my post content. We're going to scroll near the bottom and we're going to see this Yoast SEO box. Okay, so when we scroll down, notice I don't have any variables in here. Okay, so it's best practice to customize this stuff. Like I said, when we were looking at the Google search results, we want this information to be customized because that's probably what's going to make it more enticing than just like your straight up post title with your site name at the end. Okay, so best practice when it comes to your SEO title is to make sure that your focus keyword is inside of your SEO title. Now, I'm not going to dive into like, how do you figure out your focus keyword? I'm not diving into keyword research. That is going to be in another video. So you can go ahead and check out my channel to see if I've already posted that by now. But in terms of the SEO title, ideally, if we can get the SEO keyword towards the front of the SEO title, it's called front loading. If we can get it towards the front, that's best practice. For me, it wasn't worth it. Okay, so the SEO title, we typically have around 70 characters here. And if you go over the 70 character limit, Yoast will show this red little bar. So that's really helpful. But as I saw on my search results page, it's actually getting cut off before then. So like Yoast, it's not perfect. Just like everything, it's a tool. So sometimes we have to come back in here and we have to test and tweak. So I'm just actually going to delete this and add plural there. So that's how you customize an SEO title. Now, the meta description, it's best practice to always have your SEO target keyword in the meta description as well, and front loading if possible, which I was able to do pretty easily for this example. But in terms of the meta description, we only have around 155 to 160 characters. If you go over, Yoast will turn this cute little bar a different color again. Okay, so that is always a really good visual on if you're staying within the recommended limits for these things. If you do go over, we saw for my example, if you do go over the character limit for the SEO title, you'll see like a ... here. And it's going to be the same thing if you go over the meta description, it's going to show a ... Okay, and that's not like the worst thing in the entire world, but I have seen when doing competitive research for clients, some of their competitors, they weren't careful about how long their meta description was, and it got cut off at the wrong point, and it completely changed like what the meta description was saying and just like the context. So it was no bueno for that. So I just wanted to point that out, to be careful about the length of the meta descriptions. So what I also love about Yoast is that it has this SEO analysis, but I will say that just because you get the cute little green smiley face and Yoast tells you that like your post is SEO optimized, that does not mean that it's going to show up in Google. And SEO strategy combines a lot more things than just this, but this tool is a really good practice for learning how to optimize content correctly. Okay, so if we click that down arrow, we're going to see I'm actually getting hit with a suggestion that the keyword is not in the meta description. So although my meta description has been specified, it does not contain the key phrase. We have to keep in mind that these suggestions, we often need more context. Like I said, Yoast is an amazing tool, but it's not perfect. So if we scroll up, my target keyword is premium third-party Squarespace template. And I do have that keyword right here. I'm just using the plural version of it. Okay. So that could be why Yoast is not recognizing that my target keyword is in the meta description. And I think, yeah, so it's also not triggering it for the SEO title too, but if we scroll up, it's only because I'm using the plural version of it. So when you're taking a look at these suggestions, especially for the SEO title and the meta description, just know that you have to make the decision on your own, and just getting the green smiley face on Yoast, that's not the end all be all. Okay. We have to keep in mind that this Yoast analysis, it's a tool, and sometimes its suggestions aren't actually accurate. So since I updated my SEO title here on this video, I'm just going to click update. And I did want to make a note that just because you update your SEO title and your meta description in the back end of your WordPress website, that does not mean that you are going to instantly see those things change on the front end of Google search results. Okay, so it does take time. What I would suggest doing is resubmitting your URL in Google Search Console. If you don't know how to do that, I do have a video linked in the video description box below, but that will essentially give Google a tap on the shoulder to have the bots recrawl the page and hopefully update the SEO title and the meta description. But just because you're updating the page does not mean in real time that these are going to change. If you don't resubmit your URL to Google Search Console, Google will eventually see the updated versions and then hopefully change the front end of what the users are seeing on Google search results, but there can be some lag time, and Google doesn't really let us know how long that's going to take. And the last thing that I wanted to mention, because you've probably noticed that this meta description that I have on the back end of my website is not the meta description that's showing up on Google. Okay, so like I said in the beginning of this video, it's best practice to customize this SEO title and this meta description, because we don't just want it being blank, because otherwise Google will sometimes pull in just the first few words of your blog post, which probably not enticing, might not have your keyword, all of that stuff. But also keep in mind that even if and when we do customize these things, Google uses them in its own discretion. Okay, so I think, and this is I don't know this for sure, but if I'm looking at this, I think that Google chose to show this version instead, its own version, because Google thinks that this is what's going to better entice users to click on my search result. Because keep in mind, Google is a business. It wants its users to be happy. And so if all of these blog posts have similar meta descriptions, people might not find what they're looking for. So Google will sometimes customize and pull out content from your blog post and create its own meta description. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Honestly, I'm not mad about this literally at all, because my meta description here does kind of sound like everybody else's. So I'm kind of glad that Google went in and did this. But just keep that in mind. If you've updated your meta description, your SEO title, it's still not changing. Sometimes it takes a while, and sometimes Google just wants to put its own in there. So that's it for today's video. If you guys found this video helpful, give me a really quick thumbs up. And if you have any questions about anything in terms of SEO, in terms of Yoast, WordPress, feel free to leave a comment in the comment box below. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications, and I will see you in the next video.